Now it's time for more of Southern California's sports fishing voice. Let's talk Hookup. Get ready for more of the best fishing information and the hottest tips on improving your angling skills. Let's Talk Hookup is sponsored in part by Yamaha Outboards. Reliability starts here. Ford, the official truck of Let's Talk Hookup. Shimano Rods and Reels. Fish with the best. Shimano. And by Rancho Leonero, where your wildest Baja dreams come true. And now, Southern California's sports fishing voice, the hosts of Let's Talk Hookup, Pete Gray and Rock Cod Rick Maxa.
Welcome back, hour number 2. Let's Talk Hookup on the Mighty 1090. Pete Gray here. Rock Cod Rick Maxa's out on the bay. Hopefully he's already got 5 6-pounders on the boat. Have to call him out.
No, where's the on the water?
Yeah, really. In the studio with me, a couple great guys. Our buddy Captain J.J. Gerritsen, commercial Albacore fisherman, and Scott Albert, otherwise known as Scootch from the Flagler Institute of Environmental Research, having a great time talking fishing, giving away a great prize, a 3-quarter-day trip on the San Diego out of Seaford Sport Fishing in Mission Bay. Time to find out what's biting out there. And the FishDope.com report is sponsored in part by the Sato Crimp and Winder Company, where they only make products that work. Hey, you want to end connection failures? You need that Sato Crimp Kit. It is great. It's a must-have piece of gear for your long-range trip, whether it be a local trip or a long-range trip, to catch everything you could possibly do. And with the brass crimps and other features, it's easier and it's better than ever. It's the favorite connection method for the Royal Star, the Royal Polaris, the American Angler, and, of course, most of the other top boats. And if you haven't already, you should make it your preferred connection for Spectra to Mono or Spectra to Fluorocarbon. Get it at selected tackle stores like Fisherman's Landing Tackle or at SatoCrimpandWinder.com. Let's start with our private boater buddy. Our FishDope.com report starts with Captain Mark Wish from Pacific Edge. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning, Pete, Scootch, JJ. Hey, great show today, guys. Lots of good stuff going on there.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mark. Morning.
Fun stuff, man. So late January, it's the depths of winter as we know it. And feel sorry for them poor guys back east. Oh, my God. But, it's definitely a different setup than what we had last year. We're off to a much more traditional start. Normally we'd be chasing around those deep water rockfish and lingcods, and unfortunately, we got another 5 weeks before we get after those guys. I can't wait because I love fishing those big local lings on the wrecks, but that's another story. But in the interim, fortunately, that local bass fishing's pretty good for winter fishing, both at the islands and along the coast there. But this time of year, it's mostly deeper structure, and your best shot there is fishing a piece of squid, fresh, dead, or cut up a hunk alive there. But just a lot of times, the chunk works better than a whole one. On a lead head there, low and slow, down close to the bottom there. At Catalina, proper at this time of year, you fish those bass daytime, and it's mostly small to barely legal type fish. But, man, nighttime, it's a whole nother different fishery. We're usually anchoring up on deep, like rocky ledges, 18 fathoms or so, 15 to 18, and then chop and chump some squid to get the bite going, just like you would daytime, and then fish that squid lead head combo there on heavy gear. And, man, it's fun stuff. And the size of bass that you'll catch in places you normally think they're only 12 inches will shock you sometimes. And then also at Catalina, there is some yellowtails biting. It's mostly that mid-range, small to mid-range size fish right now. And both ends are biting a little bit, but the better area has been backside west, sector outside West Cove, outside Ironbound, Pedestal Rock. Those deeper structure spots is what's been holding the fish. And along the beach, up in the bay especially there, the best shot for catching the bigger sea bass, no doubt. A couple zones that are holding there. There's a little bit of fish that's actually on the bait now. There's a little bit of bait, squid bait, on the edge of Redondo Canyon there, and there's a few of them bigger ones there. And then along the kelp lines between Torrance and Rocky, there's been a little bit of that school-sized sea bass there mixed with some yellows, and that yellow's actually biting the mackerels better than the squid. And then the deep water fish, the big bomber sea bass are out there in 30 to 40 fathoms outside Rocky Point there. There's definitely a little bit of fish hanging around the bay. And then down south, way down south, reports from some of my kayak guys that are fishing La Jolla. Holy cow, man. They're getting, things are getting rocking and rolling down there in terms of that yellows and sea bass, mostly in the dark just before daylight. And they're doing okay with that yellows and sea bass. There's a little bit of squid there, and the guys are jigging it up and fishing it, and pretty good fishing. And for you private boat guys, man, watch out for those kayakers in the middle of the night. Some of those guys aren't exactly smart about lighting up so that you can see them. It's just crazy.
Yeah. Crazy, no doubt about it. Yeah. Well, it's awesome, and I know that you guys have been putting stuff on Fish Dope about all the different things going on, and hey, you can save $20 if you're not a member of Fish Dope. You got to be a member of Fish Dope. Hookup now, lowercase, no space, is the $20 code to save $20 on a new membership to Fish Dope. And Mark, how do we find you?
We're in Huntington Beach, Bolsa Chica and Edinger by the big Chevron station there. The phone number is 714-840-4262. And hey, Pete, I want to mention, I heard you say earlier in the show you were asking about the possibility of, changing that sea bass limit, backing it out a little bit farther. And man, that is a movement that should get rocking and rolling. And for somebody that has caught maybe a little more than my share of those things, I certainly know what it's like when they gang up on them spawning zones and just get annihilated there. So yeah. I'd love to see that limit pushed back to July 15th.
Yeah, it certainly makes a lot of sense. And you talk to the scientists like Scootch, right?
Yeah, no, that's when a lot of the peak spawning's right around May and early June, so they're putting a lot of eggs in the water that time of year.
Yeah, no kidding. We want that future, right, Mark?
I love that future of fishing, man.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
I want lots of them things around.
You and me both, man. All right, Mark. Thanks a lot for that, and we'll talk to you next Saturday.
Okay, we got it. We'll see you.
All right, we'll see you later. Marcos, C4 Sport Fishing. What's up, Marcos?
Good morning. How are you guys doing?
Fantastic. What's going on at C4?
Well, still a little slow on the half day. They're still picking away out there, catching a little bit of calico bass, some sand bass, occasional yellowtail in the mix there. A little tough, kind of expected in January, February. It's finding their groove there. Hopefully they start getting some of that yellowtail or maybe some better bass here. The three-quarter day, Pacific Voyager had a pretty good day yesterday. They went out there, 25 anglers, had 42 yellowtail. And they had one bonita in there, too. So pretty good fishing on there. And these were a little bit bigger than what we've been seeing. They weren't those, 6-pounders. They're more in that 10 to 18-pound range. I think he said most of them were 12 to 15, 12 to 20. Mostly yo-yo jigs and heavy dropper loops there. And he's back out right now. He's mostly scheduled on the weekends, getting out there as much as he can. And he's going to keep going. So definitely check the website, seaforthlanding.com. We have our half day. We have those three-quarter day on Pacific Voyagers. And just a reminder, those three-quarter day trips are Fishing Island, so a passport is required. Definitely want to make reservations. This time of the year, we just need to make sure we have enough to go, and he wants to run. So check the website. Give us a call at the office, 619-224-3383. They're back out there today, so hopefully we get another nice count in, and we'll get you guys out fishing.
Wow, fantastic. Now, when are we looking at the San Diego going back online since we're giving away
Last I saw, I think
trip?
he said about 3 weeks, right towards the middle of February there. I know that boat probably needed some work. It had been a while since they had been able to. It's such good fishing that they needed to tune her up a bit, get her looking pretty again.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, Marco, sure appreciate that report, and we'll talk to you next Saturday.
Talk to you then.
All right, thanks a lot. All right, our Northern Baja report. Our buddy Rick Jensen from Sport Fishing Financials on the line. Good morning, Rick.
Morning, guys. How's it going?
Doing fantastic. How's the fishing in Northern Baja?
Oh, it's the weather's there, the whales are there, the surf's there, and the fish is there. But I wanted to say hi to JJ and Scootch and tell Scootch I used to visit you back in Cat Harbor with a buddy of mine from Catalina and rattle you, wake you up, and you'd come out of the sailboat and say hi to us out on the sea bass pit.
Those were the days we were just talking about that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Nice backyard there.
Yeah. Very nice.
I think you're married now, but at the time, I think your wife beat you out of there one time, and you guys were just all cuddled up inside there having a good time.
Yeah, we were living on a sailboat there.
Wow.
Nice, close to West Cove.
And JJ, I want to come out and do some commercial fishing for a half day and pull in 40 of those albacore and come right back.
I know, doesn't that sound cool?
Yeah, take your helicopter
funny, you know
out
how
there,
many
Rick.
people want to do that?
I'll bet.
I had to actually contemplate that possibility. Let's see, we're going to need a new raft, survival suit. Maybe that won't work out.
That complicates things.
But
too much.
it's super cool. I mean, yeah, everybody would want to do it.
Yeah.
Well, down in Baja, cool things are going on. Mag Bay still has wahoo tuna and dorado showing up, and the surprise was there's a large amount of marlin out there, out on the bank. More marlin you'd ever expect to see this time of year. So guys are kind of scratching away. The guys that are there are getting into them, just a few guys. But across the side at Mulegé, Bahia Concepcion, the yellowtail are still there, and there's an up and coming yellowtail tournament for anyone who's interested in visiting that great area when the weather's nice like that this time of year. And Gary Graham over at Bloody Decks has a lot of information about that mid-February tournament coming up. And for anyone who wants to try something new and different with their trailer boat, that would be a super place to go, learn a little bit about something new in Baja. I saw the trailer boats dumping in over here at the Open Bay Bass Tournament, and gosh, there must have been 100 or so of them out in the water today. I'm sure some of those guys would enjoy the same type of thing down in the nice weather after the yellowtail.
No kidding.
So up at La Bocana and into Bahia Ascension, there's some big surf there. A lot of surfers have been getting out there and been keeping the boats on the beach. But inside the Estero, the Corvina, the Snook, the Pompano, the Grouper, the Pargo, the Spotted Bay Bass, all that light tackle stuff was really going good the other day. So good chance to get into that if you want to shoot down there. Bay of LA, they had some windy days, but the yellowtail are still around. San Quintin, wide open limits by 10 o'clock. Some bonita around, some lingcod are there as well, mostly all ironfish in the deeper water. And I think you guys heard earlier today, we have plenty of yellowtail up near Ensenada and Colonet. What was that, 45 hanging at one time?
Yeah, pretty nice fishing. Well, Rick, I want to throw out a big kudos to you for all the support you give the fishing industry in itself. You were there at the CCA meeting on Thursday. You're always involved in there, and you're a good man, and you're doing the right things to future our sport fishing here. So we're pretty stoked about that. And if somebody wants more information on Sport Fishing Financial, this is a good guy, and he knows how to make you money. So check out Rick Jensen. How do we find you at Sport Fishing Financial?
The website is sportfishingfinancial.com, and on the landline, 949-481-1807. Let me tell you, Pete, I stand behind everything that's good for fishing, and I was swallowing the pill of pushing the sea bass back, but I know that all you guys, especially, Scootch being in the research, if that's what we should do, that's what we should do, and that CCA is the kind of organization that can get behind the right changes, so we keep supporting it.
Yeah, that's all about having fish for the future, for sure. Thanks, Rick. Appreciate that, and we'll talk to you next Saturday.
Okay, take care, guys.
All right. Are you down at the Bay Bass thing? He's gone. Brian Kiyohara calling us live from the American Angler. Good morning, Brian.
Good morning, Pete, Jade, and Scootch. How are you guys?
Morning, Brian.
Thank you.
Oh, hey, I'm just calling just to preface Sam and Ray being on the show tomorrow. We get home tomorrow. Wish I was there, Pete. As you know, I like BSing and talking a lot about fishing and all that. But anyhow, I'm just calling everyone to remind them that listen up for Sam, my partner Sam and Ray tomorrow.
Yeah, for sure. Well, tell us about your trip. You're coming in tomorrow morning?
Yeah, we'll be in tomorrow. It's kind of choppy down here. We're in JD, I'm sure misses the 29 block. Kind of choppy down here this morning. And,
man.
We caught a few, Pete. It was fish fishing, to say the least. It was at any time you had a chance to catch a big one. We ended up with 15 fish over 200 pounds.
Oh, nice.
And one over 300 pounds. And a lot of our twos were 280s and 260s and a lot of real big twos. So, we didn't catch a lot of volume numbers-wise, but, boy, we sure did have some shots at some big ones.
Oh, man, I love Brian. Oh, yeah, we did okay. We have 15 over 2, a lot of big ones, and a 1 over 3. Come on, that's an incredible trip, man. Congratulations.
Oh, Roger. Anyhow, Pete, I just wanted to say you guys are doing a great job. Interesting show. Love hearing Jade and Scootch, and we'll look forward to seeing everybody at the Fred Hall show.
All right, fantastic.
Thanks,
Captain Brian Kiyohara calling us live from the American Angler, and indeed, his partners tomorrow morning, Captain Sam Patella and Captain Ray Lopez from the American Angler will be here in the studio with Rick and myself tomorrow morning. Thanks, Brian. Nice to hear from you. Congratulations on your trip. That's good fishing.
Oh, man.
Oh, man.
It's busy.
And that's so Brian. Brian. He's our buddy. It's like he's just so casual about
It's hard to be humble.
Yeah, it's just like amazing. Indeed. All right, that's quite the complete catch report today, and it's sponsored in part by Gamakatsu Hooks. Japan's leading fish hook sets the standards for quality and innovation, strength and durability. It's long-range season, and that Gamakatsu Super Nautilus Circle Hook is top anglers' first choice in fishing for tuna and other pelagic species. They're the right design and the durability to help you catch that fish of a lifetime. Get that Gamakatsu Super Nautilus Circle Hook at your favorite tackle store, and if they don't have them, Ask them to get them. Phones are packing up. One line open. You want to get through? 877-792-1090 open right now. Dan in San Diego, you're next up on Let's Talk Hookup. Good morning.
Good morning, guys. I was going to ask a question that got answered. When's the San Diego coming back online? But maybe I can ask, do you guys have any insight as to the special deals that are going to be at Fred Hall this year?
Man, I know CCA California, which stands for Coastal Conservation Association, is going to have a booklet. If you join CCA at the show, you'll not only get in free to the show, but you're going to get this valuable booklet that's worth all kinds of money and special deals at the show. So They did it last year. It was a huge success. They're going to do that same thing this year.
Okay,
so
great.
That'll be a really good one. That's coming up, hard to believe, like a month away. Fred Hall show's just a little over a month away up in Long Beach there. So watch for that, Dan, and it's going to be a good one to jump on. Thanks a lot for your phone call this morning. Let's go ahead and jump back on the phone. Let's talk to Goldie, calling us from North Park. What's up, Goldie?
Hey, hang on a second. Let me get you off speakerphone here.
Yeah, please do.
Thank you.
Goldie.
JJ, good morning.
How are you, my old friend?
All right. I left Adam my home phone number, so if you have a moment while you're in town, give me a shout.
Okay.
Why? What's in it for JJ? Is you going to cook him up something?
Yeah, he's going to cook something. Some breakfast burritos.
Okay, there you go.
Well, I could buy him the best cheap cup of coffee in town.
Wow, that's a motivation.
I thought I'd start low so that when I worked up higher, it would have a greater meaning, Pete.
Yeah, Roger. Okay, go.
I won't say my low blow point of I remember you when the only thing you had going for you was a really pretty sister.
Goldie was the chef, if you want to call him that, on the Prowler when I worked on there.
On the Prowler?
Yeah, 1983.
Wow.
And, I wanted you, if you felt comfortable, when you're out there in the Pacific in your tank, as you said, have you ever felt afraid?
Totally. Yeah, and it's.
And could you just tell us or tell me, share that with us? I'd love to hear what you'd have to say about that situation.
The Pikey is a different kind of boat than I've been on. That Apollo, it's a real high profile, lot of freeboard, real corky feel. It never gets that heavy feel. Now, the boat I'm on now, we're dealing with carrying lots of weight and moving millions of gallons of water and fuel and fish and millions of pounds, rather. Almost literally. So there's so much weight aboard. The boat and the ballast changes a lot. And it's something that, I didn't grow up with that knowledge. And so I've been learning how to use ballast, to make the boat ride differently in different conditions. And so having millions of gallons of water coming over the deck is normal. But it doesn't feel good.
Doesn't feel good. Basically, you're pretty much half sinking the boat when you're filling it with water.
Basically, we're taking a boat and filling it up with water and taking away all the flotation, and making that boat so low to the water so that we can be efficient doing what we're doing by lifting fish over the rail on a 10-foot fiberglass pole.
Wow.
You can't do it if the boat's 6 feet out of the water. The boat needs to be almost water level. And so literally we're driving around out there with about 6 inches of freeboard.
6 inches?
Literally.
So you got to make sure your hatches are sealed.
Hatches are sealed, doors sealed.
So let me get this straight. Steel doesn't float, right?
Yeah.
Solid steel, it sinks.
Yeah. And
so if
in
what
rough
keeps
conditions,
you afloat?
it's scary.
What?
It's scary. You have to know your limitations and understand, weather and wave action and boat movement and momentum and stuff like that. And there's times where, I've practiced it over and over and over and over and over and over, getting rid of weight, getting water out of the boat, pull the chutes on the tanks, shut off start pumping water over if the boat gets too heavy. move fish. We have to make sure our fish don't slide around on the deck when they're biting really good. Because, we're almost basically sinking all the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
So what is the worst condition you've been in on the Pikey?
I was in conditions that were pretty bad the first year I had the boat, and I learned to try to avoid that.
Yeah, it's good.
The forecast was 45 knots.
45 knots.
And
basically a gale.
Yeah, and like 20-foot seas. And the forecast isn't always exactly right. There's little microclimates that happen here and there, and there's different currents that can create different sea conditions. And so I got myself caught in a spot where it was blowing maybe 40 knots, and then there was wind against current and maybe a couple different currents coming together, and the seas got pretty unmanageable. And so I decided to run from it. And that might have not have been the right thing to do based on how heavy I was at the time.
And when you're running at 8 knots.
Yeah. So I'm going down sea and real slow, and the seas are going way faster than I am. And a huge wave broke over the back of the boat, and it ripped off half of the deck.
Oh.
And pretty much everything that wasn't completely lashed or bolted down was gone.
Really?
It went overboard. Yeah, I thought we were going to sink for about 2 minutes. I thought this is it. And then, but we righted, the boat righted, all the water drained off real fast. We have a lot of scuppers and good drainage. And so, we righted, but it was a scary moment.
Wow. Yeah. So when you say you righted, you actually went down?
No, the boat was underwater.
Underwater.
Basically, yeah. The whole deck, I looked to the stern, I couldn't see anything. But the bait shed sticking up out of the water, and we were heavy, super heavy, and the boat leaned real hard over to the left, and I compensated with the rudder, and I throttled up, and I just tried to steer my way through it, and did,
Got it.
Yeah, but it was scary, Yeah, we were underwater.
Wow.
Everything except the wheelhouse, and thank God, we have watertight doors. Big, heavy-duty, Swiss-made stainless steel watertight doors. And one of the guys was on deck, and one of those doors was open. Even though we generally keep them closed, he had the wherewithal to, be lashing stuff down, and he saw that wave coming and closed the door.
Wow. But he was still out on deck?
He was just kind of in and out of the galley there, right at the base of the house, and he saw that wave coming, and he closed the door, and basically that door went completely underwater.
Oh.
There's a window in it, and he was basically in underwater conditions. So that was the scariest moment I've had on the boat.
That's a big one.
Yeah, and it was horrible, and so I've learned a lot about getting rid of weight in bad weather and trying not to be in that weather.
That weather at all. Yeah. Good idea, for sure. Hey, when we come back, we're going to talk more sea stories with JJ and Scootch. More fishing stories, a lot more. Let's talk hookup coming right here on the Mighty 1090.
This is Greg Stotesbury from AFCO. For more than 55 years, the American Fishing Tackle Company has been recognized as the premier manufacturer of precision-built offshore fishing tackle. AFCO continues this tradition today with an innovative technical fishing clothing line designed and built for ultimate performance on the water. From our next-generation fishing shorts like the Tactical Camo or Stealth Shorts to our Aft Block sun protection shirts like the Fish Ninja and Samurai Sun Hoodie, the entire AFCO clothing lineup is purpose-built with the latest AFTech fabrics and designed with functional features to deliver top performance for the demanding angler. Visit www.afco.com to find a dealer near you.
It was another awesome year for fishing in San Diego, and it seems to still be going strong. I've talked to people that continue to get into tuna and yellowtail offshore. It was another awesome year for Ford, too. Once again, Ford is America's favorite brand. Just take a look at last year's sales figures. It's right there in black and white. If the car you're driving is 6, 7, 8 years old, it's really time to get into something new because the technology in these new Ford cars, trucks, and SUVs is nothing short of impressive. You wouldn't want a cell phone with 8-year-old technology, would you? So why keep driving a car with old technology? Now's the time to stop by your San Diego County Ford dealer and check out the latest innovations and designs, like Pro Trailer Backup Assist on your new F-150. You just turn a little knob on the dash and it steers your trailer exactly where you want it to go. Trust me, backing in your boat will never be easier. Learn more at SanDiegoCountyFord.com or just stop by any San Diego County Ford dealer. They'll be glad to hook you up.
Great boats, free parking, and a fully stocked tackle shop. Just a few of the reasons Seaforth Sport Fishing is a favorite among anglers. Come aboard top charter boats like the Aztec, Cortez, Endeavor, Eclipse, Apollo, Outer Limits, Pacific Star, El Gato Dos, Alexis, Pride, Privateer, Tribute, Pacific Voyager, and the Voyager. Plus, the new Seaforth Sea Watch in San Diego offer the finest half, 3/4, and full-day trips available. Check out the full-service tackle store at Seaforth Sport Fishing. And it's all run by fishermen for fishermen. 1717 Quivira Road, just off Mission Bay Drive in Mission Bay. Book online at seaforthlanding.com.
Everyone likes special treatment, kind of feel like a VIP. Well, that's how our listeners are treated at Poway Valley Collision. I have personally heard of several stories of how well our friends Jim and Mary take care of their customers that we sent them. Poway Valley Collision is worth the drive from anywhere in the Southland. We know you may not need them today, but when accidents happen, it pays to go to Poway Valley Collision. And listen to this. Our listeners get a special discount that can save you hundreds of dollars on your car or truck repair. Just tell them you listen to the show and you get the deal. They work with most insurance companies, including Auto Club, MetLife, Wawanesa, and more. Just bring your car or truck to them and let Poway Valley Collision do the rest. I have had my truck repaired at Poway Valley Collision and the job was perfect. So get your vehicle fixed right at Poway Valley Collision. Tell them you listen to Let's Talk Hookup and they'll save you money on your repair. Poway Valley Collision, 14211 Garden Road in Poway. Check PowayValleyCollision.com.
Are you feeling that itch to get out on the water? Come fishing on the American Angler and reacquaint yourself with some familiar faces and make new friends. Captain owners Brian Kiyohara and Sam Patella take pride in every aspect of the American Angler operation, from their loyal and trusted crew to the sashimi-grade fresh fish you'll take home. It's easy to find a vacation that fits your schedule. We have everything from day and a half to 10-day trips and longer. Call me at the office, 619-223-5414, or check us out at AmericanAnglerSportFishing.com. We want you to become a part of the American Angler family.
It's time for our Power Pro 60-second seminar on your next fishing trip. Be sure to get the Power Pro Advantage. I want to refresh your memory about last Sunday with Dave Pfeiffer, talking about connections between Power Pro and a wind-on leader. Shimano makes great wind-on leaders that are ready to roll, in various sizes of fluorocarbon. And it's so easy to make that connection, whether you're fishing for giant tuna or whether you're fishing for white sea bass. Simple. You either take hollow ace and do a simple loop with it. You can have your tackle store do a simple loop with it. Or if it's not hollow, you can just take straight Power Pro and do a bimini twist, the easiest knot in the world and certainly one of the most secure knots, and make a loop and then go loop to loop on your connection. It's 100% connection. It just won't fail if you do it properly. So check that out at PowerPro.com. They have a lot of descriptions on knots and connections, but that's a good one. Power Pro at your favorite tackle store.
Hi, this is Doug Kern from Fisherman's Landing. Are you aware that Fisherman's Landing has the finest charter boat fleet on the West Coast? We have charter boats from 50 to 85 feet in length and can accommodate charter groups from 8 to over 50 passengers. If you are planning to book a charter this year, I wouldn't wait too long. With the outstanding fishing that we've had the past 2 seasons, prime fishing dates for 2016 are already disappearing. If you have never booked a charter before, all you have to do is contact a few fishing buddies, pick a date, and call the landing. Our office crew will make booking your charter a breeze. If your group is from 8 to 14 anglers, the Bluefin, Pacific Quest, or Maximus would be perfect. If you have 15 to 35 fishermen, check out the Pacific Dawn, Fortune, Commander, Islander, or the Pegasus. You can also charter our open party boats, Dolphin, Prowler, Condor, and Pacific Queen. Don't allow your prime fishing date to slip away. Charter one of Fisherman's Landing's premier boats for a spring yellowtail trip or a summer or fall offshore tuna trip. You will be happy you did. You can find find us at www.fishermanslanding.com or call us at 619-221-8500 to book your fishing charter.
Don't miss the 2016 San Diego Sun Road Boat Show at the Sun Road Resort Marina today and tomorrow. If you're a boater, don't miss this once-a-year event. We have the brands you love, boating seminars and water displays of more than 150 new and pre-cruise sail and power boats. You can enjoy boat rides, music, food. It's a great time to enjoy a day on the bay. Don't forget to ask about our great show specials. For more information, visit BigBayBoatShow.com. That's BigBayBoatShow.com.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup on the Mighty 1090. Hey, you just heard the spot for the Sun Road Boat Show. It's going on now, today and tomorrow, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. right there on Harbor Island at the Sun Road Marina there. I'm going to give our listeners a little inside tip. When you get on the island, there's a dirt parking lot that says $20 for parking, right? So just bypass that lot and go right to the front, and you'll see VIP parking right next to the event for $25. So for an extra $5, you'll be right next to the event. You don't have to get in a bus. You don't have to park on dirt, and seems a little better deal to me. I mean, the parking's a little expensive, but it's a great show. Go see the guys down there. I know the guys down at Cussler Yachts down there. My buddy Pete is down there, and they have these amazing regulators. These things those things are like super high-tech modern boats. There's a lot of great sailboats, power boats, fishing boats down there. So that's going on today and tomorrow, the Sun Road Boat Show, and it's right there at Harbor Island at the Sun Road Marina. Check it out today and tomorrow. Also want to remind you, too, I found out that our Whalers Cove Lodge trip in August, co-sponsored by Harold Davis and Davis Boat Guys, had a couple of cancellations, and we had a couple of openings. This trip's been sold out for 6 months, but we have a couple of openings on our mid-August prime time trip to Whalers Cove Lodge. Can't wait for that trip. It's such an awesome experience. So you want to go, check it out at WhalersCoveLodge.com. Give them a call and find out more details. You can either go for 4 days, 3 days, or the full 7 days in our package there. WhalersCoveLodge.com. Okay, Rock Cod Rick's on the bay. He's got a full limit already in the boat, right, Rick?
Hey, what's going on, boys? How you doing?
Yeah. Hey, good morning.
How's fishing?
Fishing's going okay. It's this morning. Doug's giving me exactly 1 minute to make my phone call out of our tournament time.
Okay, Rogers.
So been looking at it, expecting you to text us or something.
Yeah, we're having a good time, man. It's fun. It's a slow start this morning, but there's definitely some fish around, and I would say that pre-fishing for us was really slow, and definitely seeing a few fish get caught here and there. So it's happening. It's going to be a good. I think it's going to be a good weigh-in. I've seen a lot of guys that have maybe ones and twos, a couple that are waiting for them, and a couple limits. So it sounds like it's all the way across the board.
And you're not talking about what you have.
No, I wouldn't be doing that. That's not a good idea.
Come on, man. You got to lay the pressure down.
Yeah. So now the tide starts smoking here any minute now. So is it once that tide starts smoking, they're going to change tactics?
Yeah, I think so. I think I will stay similar, but definitely a little bit different how we set up. It was an incoming tide that we fished this morning, and right at the very end of the incoming tide, there was definitely a little snap. It was a discouraging start. Lots of boats drifted, not a lot of bites, and right at the very end of the tide, when the tide just quit trickling, there was a little snap for a few minutes. And so if you could capitalize on it, you're pretty happy, and if you didn't, then you're hoping that they bite when the tide turns around again. So we got another probably 10 minutes of slack tide, and then we're going to be rolling for the rest of the day.
All right, we'll get back on it there, Rick, and thanks for the report. We'll see you this afternoon, 2 o'clock weigh-in, and then, of course, free beer, free food at the launch ramp there right at Shelter Island. Thanks for the check, Rick. Good luck to you and Doug.
Good boys.
Catch them up.
Thanks, We'll look forward to telling everybody all about it tomorrow.
All right, we'll see you back in the studio tomorrow. I look forward to that.
Guys.
Thanks a lot very much. All right, phones are packed up. They want to talk to you guys. Let's jump back into it and talk to Rich in Bradley. Good morning, Rich.
Yeah, I managed to squeeze back in here. Well, those are just awesome stories, absolutely riveting about almost sinking the dang boat and pulling 40 fish over the rail. My gosh, that sounds like magic. To a recreational party boat fisherman like myself, where we've had plenty of days where if you were the guy that actually caught a fish, you had a good day. Looking for maybe some of that magic to rub off on us, and hoping maybe you could maybe give us a few tips from the either the commercial side that we could apply for recreational angling that might make us better anglers, or from Scootch there, maybe from the research side, little things that and insights that we might be able to apply to our days out on the water.
You know, I'll go first on this, and my say is use some of the websites that give you the fish information, you know, like Fish Dope and those. If you're going to go out, there's no substitute for having some sort of recent information. That's just it. I mean, and spend the time. Go out and do it, and go fishing. Go fishing to go fishing, and then get as much information as you can before you go.
That's very good advice. Scootch, any input on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's all about conditions. This year was a much different condition. Obviously, guys targeting the warmer water, tropical, subtropical species. So that's a whole different tactic than going out looking for the coastal bass and sea bass. And so, yeah, just knowing the condition, knowing what's around and what bait fish are around, trying to target those areas with productive edges and especially for tuna fishing, knowing where you go before you leave the dock so you're not burning fuel all morning when fishing's good. As far as tracking the fish based on tag data, you know, the magic's not really there. We get a general broad perspective of where these fish are moving within about a degree of latitude and longitude. So you can't tell what kelp bed they're parked on, but you can tell if they're above or below the Mexican border. So that has a lot more fishery management applications than it does fishing applications. Everyone thinks we have all the inside scoop.
Yeah, where are they now, Scooch?
Yeah, exactly.
Which are they on the bar count right now?
Beep, beep, beep.
Wouldn't that be cool?
I mean, we know what quadrant of the Eastern Pacific they're in, but not so much what reef they're stacked up on. So,
do you consider white sea bass a schooling fish?
Yeah, they're loosely aggregating, and especially in the spawning season, they really pack up into those tight spawning aggregations. You can have 1,000 fish on a spot at any given time, especially right around sunset when they are spawning.
Mm-hmm. So that's why they kind of bite at sunset, is because of their spawning at that
Well,
time?
sometimes they'll bite at sunset, but usually they're busy spawning right around sunset.
Okay.
So the morning, I'd say the gray light in the morning is a much better time when they're hungry after spawning. So.
Oh, gotcha.
So
what about those 3 a.m. bites or the 2 a.m.? That's the ones.
That's another.
Yeah.
They're going to the refrigerator after a busy night. Of spawning.
That's kind of after spawning mode.
Yeah, it's not real conducive to your sleep schedule. But,
yeah, but that's just the way they are.
But, yeah, I mean, it could happen at noon. It could happen at 2 in the morning. But it's the guys who keep it honest and have the patience that do the best. You don't always hear about the trips where they don't catch as much as where they do. But
where they do.
Yeah,
no doubt. Hey, thanks a lot. Good questions there. Thanks a lot for the phone call this morning. Appreciate that. Hills in Ventura. Good morning, Hills. You're on Let's Talk Hookup. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. Thanks for taking my call. I'm looking at some lobster traps here in Ventura, man. There's so many lobster traps washed up. If they had phone numbers on them, I'd call the guys and, help give them back.
After that big swell, yeah.
That's interesting. You know, if they have floats on them, they've got F&G numbers. If you call F&G, I think they can find the owners of those traps.
Sure.
Yeah. JJ, I was going to ask, I think it was last spring, there was a bunch of boats in Pier Pompey here in Ventura, and I was asking Code Group surf fishing buddy, Captain Dave, what were those boats, And he said that was the Albacore fleet. They're making anchovies with Lampara nets right in there.
Yeah, that was us.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, that was
on
us.
Your way up?
Yeah, we try to travel as a group, so that we are there to back each other up should something go wrong with one of the boats.
Sure.
And the same goes for fishing, bait making. Always we try to go together as a group for safety.
So you were in there making bait on the way up, but you still had another 1,000 miles to go, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we are not going to pass up any opportunities to make bait.
Okay.
So, we kind of did some research and called on some friends up and down the coast and got as much dope as we could about where bait might be. And, yeah, we went in there. We went in there to L.A. Harbor, and the guys that were making bait in there, the local bait haulers, and there was bait in there to be made. There was basically one big ball of bait, and it was moving around on a ridge that had kelp and rocks and snags, and it was right in the channel there where the ships are. It was a little hectic. It's always hectic.
Yeah.
There's never a perfect scenario for bait.
Not
making.
an easy deal.
And I slapped it out there and missed. The bait was moving and I missed, and I'm a rookie. I thought I was gonna get it, but I didn't. And then their bait hauler made a set on, and he got that whole school, and he offered to bait us out, but he was baiting out other boats and such, and the bait had been in his net for a little while, and so we passed on it. We really want to make sure that the bait we get is perfect.
Yeah, because it's got a long way to go.
Yeah, and so we passed on it, and we ended up going up and making bait off of Ventura.
Yeah, so
and
that's
all
how
of
you
us
ended
scored.
up.
There was a lot of it up there.
It
Yeah,
was. All right. Cool, Hills. Thanks a lot for the call this morning. Tony in Kensington, you're next up on Let's Talk Hookup. Good morning.
Yes, good morning, guys. JJ's stirring up my old memories of when I used to fish albacore with the Italian fleet down here in San Diego. The 40-footers down there, Great Street Piers. And, we had a big fleet going down in Mexico, and I really loved getting out there and fishing, our little bait boats.
Oh,
Some
yeah.
of the guys used to venture up to, Monterey and get bashed up there. But I wanted to ask you, JJ, where do you bring your fish? We used to have the cannery down here, Sarkist and a few others. But how about you guys? Where do you bring your fish?
Well, we can offload in various places up and down the coast, from basically just below the Canadian border in Westport, Washington, all the way to San Pedro. And there's several places in between. But AFA, the American Albacore Fishing Association, coordinates all of our fish sales and all the trucking, so there's a lot involved. We don't know per se exactly where each catch is going to go until we're done and we're loaded up and we're on our way, and we give Natalie at AFA a call, and she'll say, oh, you guys can unload here, and so-and-so's going to have a truck or two trucks, whatever. They coordinate all of that, and American Tuna ends up getting a lot of it, pull and line, and Natalie and AFA coordinate exactly
who to sell it
to, and what trucks are going to be where and when, and it's an amazing effort that AFA puts forth to coordinate all that and be efficient at it and make sure that we're getting paid for our fish and our fish is going somewhere and it's going to be an excellent quality, and
that's the whole idea, because it's pull and line, it's going to be an excellent quality fish.
Yeah.
So what is an average price for albacore? Does it fluctuate in a huge way?
It does fluctuate. The world market has a great deal to do with it, but average price is, somewhere around $1.10 a pound, roughly.
In the round.
And it can be, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it varies. It can be a we all think that it should be a lot more valuable.
Of course.
And maybe the bait, the pull and line caught fish will become more valuable, and that's what we're hoping, and we're striving for, because of the sustainability of the fishery, and it's green and it's MSC certified, and it's traceable, and it's really a responsible method of fishing
versus long lining
or big nets, So we're hoping that, because of the way we catch our fish, that, will become more valuable.
And it's a great product, too. The oil content in that stuff is just through the roof.
Oh, it's amazing. So spectacular. Every time I eat it, I just go, oh, man, this is so
really good.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks a lot for the call this morning. Before we run out of time, Scootch, I want to talk about Pier's work with swordfish, another fish that us who love to fish would just love to catch.
Yeah.
You guys have been doing some work with swordfish.
Yeah, we've been tagging swordfish for the last 10 years. I guess Chugi started that work before I started working with Pier. And, Chugi's an outstanding fisherman, but he's also got a really good sense of how to manage stocks, what healthy fisheries involve. And we're working with some of the swordfish guys trying to do some tagging, and also we do some tagging with harpoon and this deep set buoy gear that we've been working with. So we've tagged over 30 swordfish in the last 3-4 years, and we've gotten 2 of those tags back recently. Those fish were at liberty for over a year. Caught within actually the last one was caught within 3 miles of where we deployed it.
Really?
But looking at the tag data, and we just got it back this week, so not a whole lot of detail there, but the previous fish traveled over 14,000 kilometers during that.
Whoa!
16 months at Liberty. So
like west, east, north,
southwest, down
southwest,
towards the equator, below Hawaii.
Really?
That's where the mature swordfish go to spawn this time of year. February, March, April. They're down around the equator, 26, 28 degrees Celsius. Surface water is where they like to spawn.
And how is the stock of Pacific swordfish? Is it healthy? Is it not healthy?
Yeah, it's relatively healthy. They just did a stock assessment, and it's they call it the North Central West Pacific, if I'm getting that right. That stock's extremely healthy. That's the stock that the Hawaiian longline guys fish, and that comes in from the west-southwest off of Central California, even Southern California. That stock is mature and healthy and could probably see some more exploitation. They're saying the stock to the south of us, the Eastern Pacific, is a little more overexploited, or tending on the border of overfishing. So that one's the one they're watching. That's the stock off Latin America, South America, Mexico. There's been an increase in landings in that region in recent years. Yeah. But from what we've seen in our tag data, the fish will travel down to the southwest. They could be on either side of that stock line, the Eastern Pacific or North Central Pacific.
So it could be in the same stock, but it could be a different stock.
Since those fish move so far, it's likely that there's some intermingling amongst the two stocks, and I'm sure they breed together on occasion. So
and if you had one word of advice for somebody that wants to target a rod and reel swordfish, anything?
They're the deep dwellers during the day, so at night they come up relatively close to the surface, above the thermocline typically, which off our coast is usually around 60 meters. So you can find, at night you can find swordfish above 60 meters. During the daytime they're much below that when they're not basking. This fish, I just looked at the data, went as deep as 1,700 meters, which is over a mile deep.
Wow.
And the water temps down there are about 36 degrees. So
amazing.
So they can go deep. That's some of the work we're doing up here, is looking at the physiology, both muscles and gills, and how do they function in that cold, deep, dark water.
Fascinating work, man.
So crazy.
So amazing.
Yeah.
And we got to put our hats off to Tom Flager and you and Chugi for the work you're doing. It's going to be, God, just think of what's coming, too. They've already done some amazing things.
Yeah.
Think about what's coming. Hey, and when we come back, we're going to wrap things up, give away a prize, tell you about tomorrow. Stay tuned. This is Southern California's Sport Fishing Voice. Let's talk Hookup on the Mighty 1090.
Get it all at Dana Landing in Mission Bay. It's truly the one-stop shop for a great day on the water. Looking for a fishing charter? Dana Landing had you covered with several boats, including the new Blackjack, perfect for 2 to 4 anglers, and the Impulse that will carry up to 6 anglers in comfort and style. Dana Landing has a huge tackle shop with everything you need to go fish bay bass, tuna, or marlin, plus expert anglers on staff to help. They even have Mexican and California fishing licenses and reel repair. The deli at Dana Landing is a local's favorite with all the food, ice, and beverages you need. When it comes to freshwater tackle, East County Bait and Tackle is the spot for a great day on the lake. The ultimate in rods and reels, the latest freshwater lures and live bait. ECBT has a staff second to none when it comes to sharing their passion for fishing. ECBT is at the end of the 67 freeway on Mapleview in Lakeside, and Dana Landing is right across from SeaWorld next to the Dana Launch Ramp in Mission Bay. Check DanaLanding.com for more details.
This is Captain Tim Ekstrom from the long-range vessel Royal Star. With my partners Randy Toussaint and Brian Sims, we have set the bar for the long-range fishing experience. A spring 8-day, summer 5-day, or a fly-down, fly-back 11-day winter trip, we deliver the highest quality long-range voyage you will find. From our premium RSW fish storage to our top-of-the-line chefs and crew, Royal Star distinguishes itself from all others. Want to grab a spot on the Royal Star? Check us out at RoyalStarSportFishing.com or call Tracy at 619-224-4764.
When it comes to fishing rods for saltwater, there's just one name you need to know: CalStar. Take, for example, the Graphiter series. It's a true graphite and fiberglass composite rod, the finest it's ever been built. And for anglers seeking traditional performance, durability, and quality at an affordable price, the CalStar West Coast series of rods and blanks are the ones for you. Their master craftsmen bring decades of rod building experience to every rod they make. So if you want your fishing rods to be truly state-of-the-art, I always recommend CalStar at fine tackle stores everywhere.
No matter the fishing conditions, count on the Seaguar family of fluorocarbon leader material to help you catch more fish. Fluoro Premier has a smaller diameter with the highest break strength. Plus, it is super soft. When bites are tough, tie on Fluoro Premier. Blue Label is tough as nails with incredible abrasion resistance and impact strength. And new Pink Label is the choice for tough light conditions, giving you a little more visibility for better line control. Pick up a spool of Seaguar at your favorite tackle dealer or visit seaguar.com.
XEPRF 1090 AM Rosarito, Baja California.
You are listening to the home of the Aztec.
Put that slam dunk. That's what I'm talking about.
San Diego's sports leader, the mighty 1090.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup, and congratulations, Joe and San Pedro. We didn't get a chance to get you on the air, but you were the winner of that three-quarter-day trip on the San Diego out of C4 Sport Fishing. I want to thank everybody that hung in there, and apologize we couldn't get to everybody, but we get to as many people as we could because popular guys here in the studio. JJ, always a pleasure.
Thank you, Pete. Yeah, enjoy being here.
A lot of fun. And now, when are you going to start fishing?
June.
All right.
Yeah. So we'll start doing maintenance, and we've been just kicking back and adjusting.
Surfing, skiing,
yeah,
all that kind
doing
of
all
stuff.
the good stuff.
Fishing, little sea bass fishing,
surfing,
maybe.
yeah. It's good. But I will start doing some boat maintenance here, and then look forward to taking off in June.
Yeah. All right. Well, maybe we'll see you at some of the shows, Fred
You
Hall
bet.
shows. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And look forward to maybe having you back before you leave. Give her a little insight on Albacore.
That'd be cool. Sure.
Yeah, for sure. All right. And Scootch, of course, you guys are doing tremendous work at the Flagler Institute, Pier. How do we look you guys up and get more involved with Pier?
A lot of our projects are on the Pier website, www.pier.org, and we try to keep it updated with recent ongoings and some facts on fish. So if you're into it, look us up.
Check it out.
Or send us an email.
All right. Thanks, Scooch.
Yep.
Appreciate you guys taking the time today. And appreciate you joining us on Let's Talk Hookup today. Tomorrow morning, 7 to 9 a.m., we'll be right back here in the Mighty 1090 studios with Captain Sam Patella, Captain Ray Lopez from the American Angler, talking fishing. That's going to be a great show. 7 to 9 a.m., we'll see you right back here on the Mighty 1090.